I want to know about how Alex thinks about strategy. You know, are there like strategic moves that you've made over the years that were the wrong ones, the right ones, as you were kind of, even maybe during the early days when you were still with Roy? Because like that's where a lot of our audience is. You know, they're at these maybe inflection points where the algorithm's changing. Do they stick with what they should? How do they get an idea on where to evolve next and how to stick with what's still true to them?
Yeah, I'm actually in the same boat. I'm trying to figure it out because back then I knew what to do. I'm like, oh, you got to be consistent. You have to make sure. I would give advice to everybody that wanted advice. They'd be like, what kind of advice do you give me? I would say, stay consistent. Even if you're not getting views, make sure your videos are good. So when you do hit that one video that takes off, you have a good library. And you don't have just shitty videos that people like, they watch the big one and like, wow. And then they go to the next one and like, oh, never mind. And then, so you want to have that. And that's the advice I would give them now. Now it doesn't really matter what your previous video was or your next video is. It's about the current video. If it does good, then it does good. And then you have to move on to the next one. And that one isn't really going to help. It's just like this video standalone, which is kind of like, you know, Marvel. Like they switched to standalone movies now. But in the past, obviously, you had to see that movie to understand that movie, to see that movie to understand that movie. That's what YouTube used to be like. It's like, oh, this one, and they want to see the next one. They want to see the next one. Now it's all about that one video. And you have to focus on that one video and then focus on the next video. And it doesn't really matter because the algorithm will pick it up. You could have the worst video ever. It had like 1 view. The next video has 1 million because you did something correct in the algorithm.
What would your advice be to someone like that who wants to get into YouTube but feels like they're starting from scratch? You know, they don't know any YouTubers. They're kind of TikTokers. They might not know a lot of other TikTokers too. You know, what does getting started on YouTube take now? But if you have an existing following somewhere else?
I think, yeah, definitely use your audience and push them towards that. But if I was a TikToker trying to get into YouTube and I'm used to making these fast-paced little videos, shorts is the way to go. YouTube's it's always weird because back in the day, they wanted original content. Then they wanted longer format content. And then all of a sudden, TikTok started doing well, so YouTube had to compete with TikTok. So they started being like, okay, here's shorts. Now we just want shorts. So now it's like, what? You wanted long form. Now you want short form. And so if I was a TikToker trying to make on YouTube, I would enter with shorts. And then kind of how Nick did it. Nick LMAO, you guys had him on. He was huge in shorts. He's had hundreds of millions on shorts. Yeah. And then now he's doing long form and it's doing good. So I think use your strengths from TikTok or whatever platform you're on. Go to YouTube, build on shorts, which is a lot easier. You get paid less than you do for long form, but it's a lot easier to make an audience with shorts and then try to translate it into long form eventually after you figure out what your YouTube audience likes.
And go look at channels probably like Nick's. Go back in time, look at that. What was that first long form that he did, and how did that relate to the same time as when the shorts were coming out? How do those two things integrate?
Yeah, and then also, like you said, don't worry about subscribers. Subscribers is kind of like oh, look at my numbers. Like, it doesn't really mean anything anymore because you could have like 40 million subscribers and only get 100,000 on a video, even though you have 40 million, because like the algorithm is not going to feed it to 40 million people. It's going to feed it to who they think want to watch it. So it's all about the views now. Subscribers really don't matter.
Yeah, that is very true.
Yeah.
Tell us one smartest decision you ever made with your channel.
Could be strategic. We'd love to know financial.
I think smartest decision was... Dang, there's just so many.
Fantastic.
Give us like top 3.
Do you today or?
I think, well, it's a lot of people aren't going to agree with this, but I think letting them into my life, like, I don't feel like it's invasion of privacy because I'm choosing to put my life out there. And I'm not live streaming, so I am live streaming, but I'm not IRL live streaming, so I can still choose what to put there. Like, I can go back and take this out. I'm like, oh, if like that joke didn't land, I could take it out. If I don't want my kids to be in every video, then I don't have to. It's just like picking and choosing, but I really enjoy having the audience know me for me. So when I go out in public and somebody sees me, they're like, oh my gosh, congratulations on your engagement. Or, oh, how's the pregnancy going? Or, oh, is your leg okay? Because they know that I hurt my leg in some basketball game or something.
Yeah.
So I really like having that sense of community and letting them know, or like not just being like, oh my God, can I take a picture? And then they leave. Yeah. Or like they don't know me, they're just using me. and now they really do know me, and it's so interesting to see that whenever it pops up in real life.
Driven.